On May 13th, 2000, one of the most iconic roller coasters in the world opened to the public for the first time. When it opened, this coaster broke 6 world records and created an entirely new class of roller coaster, the Giga Coaster. In the 20 years since it first opened, this coaster has won the Golden Ticket Award for Best Steel Coaster 10 times and has never placed lower than second place. This ride is considered to be one of the best in the world by many, but it is also considered to be forceless and overrated by some. This ride is, of course, Millennium Force at Cedar Point. In this video, we're going to take a look at this legendary coaster and decide for ourselves if Millennium Force is truly elite or if it's drastically overrated. Before we can declare Millennium Force to be elite or overrated, let's start with taking a look at the coaster's stats. Millennium Force reaches a height of 310 feet, making it the world's 7th tallest roller coaster. With a drop of 300 feet, Millennium Force ties Intimidator 305 and Orion for the title of the world's 7th largest drop. Reaching a speed of 93 miles per hour, Millennium Force is the world's 7th fastest coaster. Millennium Force has a total track length of 6,595 feet, earning it the title of the world's 6th longest ride. Millie, as she's affectionately called by her fans, features a drop angle of 80 degrees. While this is fairly steep, the angle is not enough to put Millie on the chart as one of the world's steepest drops. Finally, Millie has a ride time of 2 minutes and 20 seconds, including the time spent on the fast cable lift hill. Millennium Force certainly has world-class stats, but any real coaster fan knows that there's a lot more to a coaster than just its stats, so let's take a look at the total ride experience that Millennium Force provides. Like all coasters, the Millennium Force experience starts with the entry plaza and queue line. Millie's entry plaza consists of a sign with its name, a test seat, and entrance to the queue line. The queue consists of 4 separate blocks of switchbacks, followed by a long ramp up to the station. There's shade canopies over most of the queue, so even on hot days, it's not too hard to stay cool while you're waiting for your ride. Millennium Force's station is broken into 2 separate areas, a loading station and an unloading station. This arrangement allows for quicker dispatches and increases the ride's capacity. The station, like the rest of the ride, really isn't themed at all, but it's stylized with sort of a sci-fi look to it. The ride has a theme song that plays in the station that certainly adds to the overall sci-fi experience of this ride. Once you board the train, you lock in your needlessly tight seatbelt and pull down your comfortable Intamin T-bar restraint, and the ride kicks off. Millie has a very fast lift hill, so you don't spend a lot of time on it, but the time that you do spend on this lift gives you a gorgeous view of the lake and the rest of the park. Before you know it, you've reached the top and you're soon plummeting down the ride's signature 300-foot drop. After the drop, Millie climbs back into a steep overbank turnaround, and then rockets down into a tunnel. From this point on, the ride stays pretty low to the ground, and it weaves throughout its course on Millennium Island. Millennium Force is all about speed, and the low-to-the-ground elements really give you a sense of just how fast you're going. Millie's really well placed. There's not a single point on the ride that I'll consider to be a dead spot. After a series of low, fast turns and tunnels, Millennium Force makes its way into the ride's finale. The ride roars by the queue line before going into a steep overbank directly over one of the queue blocks. In my mind, this finale is really one of the strongest parts of the ride. The elements are fun, but more importantly, they're highly visible to the queue, and it really builds a sense of anticipation and excitement for those who are waiting in line to ride. Millennium Force has great stats and a great ride experience. Surely that means it's deserving of all the love and admiration it receives, right? I mean, the Golden Ticket Awards couldn't possibly be wrong, could they? While there are no shortage of people who love Millennium Force, the ride has its share of detractors as well. You don't have to spend long on the roller coaster subreddit before you hear someone refer to this ride as Millennium Forceless, and people will be as quick to hate on this ride as they will be to praise it. Millie's critics claim that the ride is almost totally lacking in strong positive or negative forces, and the elements are repetitive and uninspired. They'll make the argument that there's not a single thing that Millennium Force does better than all other coasters. They'll accurately point out that there are other coasters in the same park that are faster, taller, more intense, and way more forceful. The critics of Millennium Force will point out that there is not a single thing that Millennium Force does that other coasters don't do better than it. They will argue that Millie is overhyped and is in no way deserving of all the awards that it wins. If you ask me to decide if Millennium Force is elite or overrated, my answer is simply this: yes. Millie is, without a doubt, one of the best coasters in the world. Its stats are top tier and it delivers a ride experience that really matches the stats. While other coasters may be better at specific things, Millie is good at everything. Millie truly is an elite coaster. At the same time, however, I'll be quick to acknowledge that Millennium Force is kind of overrated. When I put together my list of best steel coasters that I've ridden, it doesn't even make the top 5, and it's actually not even the highest ranked coaster at Cedar Point. Don't get me wrong, I love Millennium Force, and I try to ride it every time I visit the point. If you hop on Millie expecting it to be one of the best steel coasters in the world, you're probably going to be disappointed when you get off. But if you take a step back from your expectations, it's really easy to appreciate Millennium Force for what she truly is, one of the most well-rounded, fun roller coasters that's ever been built. It's a ride that's withstood the test of time and is as popular after 20 years as it was when it first opened. Even if she is overrated, Millennium Force earns the title of an elite ride in my opinion. Have you ridden Millennium Force? If you have, tell me in the comments section whether you think she's elite or overrated, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe for more content from Coaster Center. Until next time, ride on, coaster fans.